Hey movie junkies, welcome back to Twin Flicks, where we always here celebrating the magic of movies and physical media with you. And this is our second part of our 6-episode series of Warner Brothers' newly Ultimate Knockout Collection, Rocky on 4K UHD, all 6 movies. And we're going to be comparing all 6 movies to the previous released Blu-ray. I tell you, the Rocky 2 is something you need to see for yourself with the color grading and just the image quality alone. Alright guys, so let's go back into the ring and take a closer look at Rocky 2 on 4K UHD against the previous released Blu-ray and see if Rocky 2 is really worth the upgrade. Now first, right off the bat, I have to talk about the white levels. Blu-ray carries this pinkish hue within the white levels. You can easily see this with the white pillow and sheets, but also within white shirts and even within the snow. And it's something I never really noticed before until I compare it to the 4K. The 4K looks much more appropriate now with bright, crisp whites looking as they should. And any doubts I had about the 4K have been long gone immediately when I saw this comparison here with the white levels. Primary colors are displayed accurately as well, based on the original source material and the filmmaker's vision. Vibrant cherry, deep reds and crimson reds, and energetic yellows. It all really pops off the screen, while also looking much more balanced out with extra color depth and nuances and detail. The HDR10 and Dolby Vision grading really opens up the color gamut much wider, allowing the colors to flourish it like this. We also have all those earthy tones from grays, maroons, blacks, turquoise, plaids from the late 70s that likewise looks more convincing and lifelike as well. We finally have Rocky 2 the way we're supposed to see it, with an impressive cinematic appearance. Saturation is elevated slightly and used specifically to bring more life and punch back into the image, and this really helps with skin tones especially looking warmer and more natural, but also just with the overall image looking warmer. And I never noticed the saturation looking artificially boosted or hot. Contrast is also handled right, that really helps with daylight scenes looking more naturally lit, but also helps with night and darkly lit scenes as well. Where the Blu-ray, especially when I compare the two formats, looks overly bright in some areas, as if someone cranked up the exposure for the Blu-ray. The 4K carries an impressive and more accurately displayed color grading. Now with the black levels, Rocky 2 on Blu-ray also had many areas with crushed out details and weak shadows. The HDR10 and Dolby Vision really helps in this department, enhancing the black levels, looking truer, deeper, inky black, and some fantastic shadow detail. The stronger black levels and shadows really draws out more information in the image, and also some slight splashes of color, even within the darkest areas of the frame. This also creates more depth within the image, giving a more lifelike and cinematic appearance than I've ever seen it before on home media. This new 4K transfer with a higher resolution gets the image quality where it needs to be, giving more finer lines in the image, looking as sharp and clear as the lenses can get without any artificial sharpening or smoothing done. And while the image is still a product of its time with an inherited rough around the edges appearance due to the low budget restraints, the image still maintains a strong level of detail and textures, revealing all the graffiti and litter-filled streets of Philadelphia. It's all there. Facial features look sharp, revealing small imperfections, but also all the deep bruising, beads of sweat. The Blu-ray also looked very flat and lifeless, and some very soft areas. The 4K handles this better, where the image has a fantastic amount of depth and three-dimensionality and spaciousness now that really gives the image a lot of life and activity to it. And any kind of softness that's still there is just inherited from the negative. It was baked into the negative, and there just wasn't much they could do about it. Now, when comparing the 4K to the Blu-ray, I did notice something with the Blu-ray. It actually used a lot of grain management on the Blu-ray, where skin and scenes looked waxy, a little waxy. The 4K does not have this grain management done, or at least not that I could see. The 4K retains a fine layer of tight grain field, giving a very natural organic 35mm filmic appearance. This is absolutely the best Rocky 2 has ever looked, and I'm going to say most likely will ever look on home media. Alright, now let's get into the audio. Now, Warner Brothers has corrected the pitch issues with the track, where the film no longer sounds like all the air has been sucked out of the room. That was a serious issue with the previous Knockout collection. Now the 5.1 and stereo tracks both sound how they should and accurately. And I did go with the 5.1 track that really slams. With some nice surround activity, especially with the final fight, we can feel the impacts of the punches with some nice weight and heft to the sound design. The film's iconic score by Bill Conte fills the soundstage, and dialogue is clean and clear. Alright guys, well head over to the comment section and let me know when you look at the differences here between the two formats, the previous release Blu-ray and the 4K UHD. Which do you think looks better? Or do you see much difference at all? Head over to the comment section and let me know. Alright guys, well thanks so much for hanging out with me for a few minutes as we talk about Rocky 2 on 4K compared to a previous release Blu-ray. Next up, stay tuned for Rocky 3, 4, 5, and 6. As always, keep physical media alive, and we'll see you next time.
Twin Flicks presents 4K versus Blu-ray.